guys! Today I've decided to work on a new project. I've been wanting to upcycle some of my clothes, and what a better way to do that with embroidery. So I have this jumper, not too old, but I haven't been wearing it much, and I want to add some colour. It's quite a dark green. So I'm going to be working from Autumn/Winter 17 trend and add some beautiful hand embroidery on it. So I'm going to show you how to change one of your jumpers. Okay, here we are. I'm doing some research into embroidery trends. There's some lovely ideas from designers for autumn/winter. But actually I have found one of my favorite images to get inspired from, and it's this one here. So I chose to use this image as my inspiration. I love the thick yarn that is used on this jumper, and it's quite a loose jumper that you can overlay on top of shirts or loose tops. So I'm going to look through some of my own designs and use those on my jumper. So here I'm just looking through some of my sketchbook pages, and I think I quite like some of these ideas here to mix on the jumper. Hello again! So I've been going through my chunky yarns and I've chosen a few, created a nice palette to use on this jumper. So I've got a nice purpley Fuchsia Pink, green, maybe a little bit of blue. This is very similar, it's just a bit thinner. And then a lighter, what kind of colour is this? Beige, light peach colour. So I'm going to start with these ones, and then I'm probably going to maybe add some more. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by doing some daisies with this yarn on the sleeve. So I've got, you would need a tapestry needle, so it needs to be quite big here in order for the thick yarn to go through. Then I'll just make a knot. And work on some simple stitches really. So you need to go under the jumper and up here on the shoulder line. I'm not using a hoop at the moment, but let's see how it goes. So I'm doing this freehand. Okay, so for a lazy daisy, you need to come up and then go back right next to where you started, and then you leave a loop. You don't pull the thread all the way in, just kind of leave it like that. Yep. And you want to come out again where you want your loop to be, so coming just right there. And you create a little stitch on top. The only thing is that you have to keep going under the jumper in order to work. So that's a petal. It's quite big, so I mean you can always make them smaller if you like. And you go around, you come right in here, to create another petal. Just need to twist it a little bit. And back next to where you started. Just check where do you want this to be. We're going to do 5. Place it in that. You can't really draw the jumper, to be honest. You have to just trust and do this freehand. It's nice to be a little bit looser. Don't pull it too much. Go back there. You can try and come all the way up here so you don't. It's easier instead of like putting your hand all the time under the jumper. So as I said, leave it a little bit loose. And this is a 3rd petal. So where would you want to be? Right there, I think is a good spot. I think I've got enough yarn for another petal, and then we're going to need to add a little more. Every time that you pull it, the other petal gets, obviously it's the same yarn, so it gets pulled, so be careful. Let's see if I've got enough here. Okay, just about. We're going to finish this one and then we need to put some more yarn. Make sure you make a knot. Yes, and you're done here. Just need to add more yarn to finish this flower. Okay, so I have added a few of these flowers and I'm going to add some more later. Now I'm going to show you how to do a few leaves. I'm using the same thickness of yarn but in a nice emerald green. So I'm going to create the middle of the leaves with a couple backstitch. It's just easier thing to make the shape. So here I'm creating the leaves outline freehand. As I can't transfer the design, I just create the shape as I go. If you don't like something, you can always just unpick it and try again, but it's pretty easy. I've done different shapes of leaves, they're not all the same, and I think they all look great. So here I'm just continuing with the backstitch to create the outline. You can use both outline leaves and then some that are filled in. I'm going to show you in a minute how to stitch in and fill the area of the leaf as well. Okay, now this is how you're going to do fishbone stitch to fill in your leaves. You start from the top and you go across the center. That's why it's quite useful that we've stitched the center first. So you go from one side to the other side and you continue going under your previous stitch as I'm showing here. You go next to your top stitch and then across and under the previous stitch. And you keep going like this, always under the bottom of your cross stitch until the area of the leaf is filled in. So keep going and you see how it looks. The yarn is quite thick here, so it doesn't look as smooth as it would look if you're using a thinner yarn, but that's the look of the jumper. It's just quite chunky embroidery. Okay, there's only about a stitch left to finish this leaf, so make that last stitch ending in the middle and then now making the knot to secure this. It's up to you how many of these leaves you want to do, how you want to place them. Just, play with it. If you think it's too much work, just use the outline leaves. They're quite nice as well. Okay, now I have a few flowers and leaves in place. I'm going to add some scattered French knots. I've got a blue yarn with me and I'm also going to use a light peach color, and I'm going to place them in between the flowers and the leaves. So here I'm going to show you how to do a French knot if you don't know how to do it. So you hold the yarn with your left hand and you twist the needle around. You could do 4 or 5 turns around the needle, and while you hold the yarn down, you place the needle back to where you came up. Not in the exact spot, just right next to it. Then you hold it and you pull it through so you've got a knot. So you're going to use this stitch and make quite a few in between. They're quite sweet, and it's up to you really how many you want to do to fill in this area. I've just, I don't know, done like a dozen in between with the two colors. So keep going and you see it looks quite pretty.